Dear students, today we will discuss about mycoplasma. What are these mycoplasma? These are bacteria. Okay, these mycoplasma are bacteria. Plural is mycoplasmas or mycoplasmata. It is a genus of bacteria. Okay, and it lacks cell wall. That is the important characteristic of this particular group of bacteria. They lack cell wall around their cell membranes. Usually when we study the structure of bacteria, they are having a cell wall around the cell membrane. But here, these group of bacteria lack cell wall. And this characteristics makes them naturally resistant to antibiotics. Because many of the antibiotics target cell wall synthesis. It will stop cell wall synthesis in bacteria and thus kills the bacteria. But here these antibiotics cannot work because there is no cell wall for this bacteria. So they are not sensitive to beta-lactam antibiotics. And these organisms can be parasitic or saprotropic. And many parasitic forms are there. So mycoplasma, they are included in class molecules, order Mycoplasmatales, rank genus, phylum Tenericutes. Higher classification is Mycoplasmataceae, and lower classifications, that is the Mycoplasma is a genus. It's the genus name. Okay, Mycoplasma, and it is a genus of bacteria. So what will be the lower classification species? So there are several species coming under genus Mycoplasma. Examples are Mycoplasma genitalium, Mycoplasma hominis, and many more. And many of them are causing several infections in humans also. So mycoplasmas, they are considered as the smallest free-living organisms. Okay, they are considered to be the smallest free-living organisms. And they are characterized by an outer membrane. There is a membrane for them, plasma membrane or the cell membrane that is there, which consists of 3 layers. But another thing is that they totally lack a cell wall. And this renders these organisms insensitive to beta-lactam antimicrobial drugs. And also certain species specifically infect human genital tract. There are certain mycoplasma species which specifically infect human genital tract, and this may even affect pregnancy outcomes. So this is the structure of mycoplasma, a general structure of mycoplasma cell. You can see a 3-layered cellular membrane. A 3-layered cellular membrane. Then inside there is no cell wall. There is a 3-layered cellular membrane. There are soluble proteins inside. Then there is cytoplasm. There is soluble RNA. Ribosomes can be seen, as well as DNA. The genetic material can also be seen. This is the general structure of mycoplasma cell. This is the causative agent of sexually transmitted diseases, pneumonia, atypical pneumonia, and other respiratory disorders. Several infections these organisms are causing. There are several species, and these cause several diseases. So it includes sexually transmitted diseases, pneumonia, atypical pneumonia, and other many respiratory disorders. So this is another structure of mycoplasma. The same thing. It is depicted in a different way. You can see the lipoprotein membrane, soluble proteins inside, ribosome is there, DNA is there, soluble RNA is there, but we cannot see the cell wall. So cell biology and classification. The term mycoplasma, that is used to refer to any members of class molecules. Usually we use the term likewise, means many people use this term mycoplasma to refer to any member coming under molecules. But they won't look whether it is actually coming under genus Mycoplasma. So actually mycoplasma are those organisms which are coming under genus Mycoplasma. But this is also used, means any organism coming under molecules are sometimes referred to as Mycoplasma. But we should see that it is only the organisms coming under genus Mycoplasma can be called as Mycoplasma, and several species are there inside this genus. And they are considered to be eubacteria, which evolved from Clostridium-like predecessors by some process of gene deletion. Okay, they are considered to be eubacteria, true bacteria. And they are saprophytic or parasitic in nature. They are we can say they are obligatory intracellular parasites. Okay, like virus, many of them are obligatory intracellular parasites. They infect cells and multiply inside the cells. So many of them are saprophytic and many are parasitic. Okay, and these parasitic organisms are obligatory intracellular parasites, and they are insensitive to environment. Okay, they are insensitive to many antibiotics. And the smallest representative of this genus is Mycoplasma genitalium, which has only 6,000 kilobase pairs in its genetic material. Only 6,000 kilobase pairs in the genetic material. It is known as Mycoplasma genitalium. So other important noteworthy species are Ureaplasma urelyticum, Mycoplasma pneumoniae, Mycoplasma genitalium. These are certain examples. Okay. And this Mycoplasma pneumonia causes walking pneumonia and other respiratory disorders in humans. And Mycobacterium genitalium is also believed to cause various diseases related to reproduction, as well as it is involved in pelvic inflammatory diseases. And Mycoplasma species are the smallest bacterial cells yet discovered. Okay, it is the smallest of the bacterial cells discovered, and they can survive without oxygen. Also, they come in various shapes. Since there is no cell wall, there is no specific shape for this bacteria. We can see them in different shapes. For example, Mycobacterium genitalium is flask-shaped. Mycobacterium pneumoniae is elongated. Okay, and there are several hundreds of Mycoplasma species which infect animals. So this is one Mycoplasma, that is Mycoplasma haemophilus. So here it comes under the scientific classification is also given here: domain bacteria, phylum Tenericules, class Molecules, order Mycoplasmatiales, family Mycoplasmataceae, and genus Mycoplasma. And the study concerned with or the clinical specialization concerned with Mycoplasma is known as mycoplasmosis. Okay, the clinical area concerned with Mycoplasma is known as mycoplasmosis. Then Mycoplasma pneumoniae. It causes respiratory infection. Here what it do is the bacterium attach to the lung tissue and multiply until a complete infection develops inside the body. And in most cases it is mild and self-limited, but in certain cases it may progress to chronic infections. And Mycoplasma pneumoniae, it parasitizes, means it is a parasite in the respiratory tract epithelium of humans. It adheres to the respiratory epithelial cells. Okay, how it parasitizes the cells with the attachment of certain specialized organelles which is present in the Mycoplasma pneumoniae. With those organelles, it will attach to the respiratory tract epithelium, and after that there is the evasion of host immune system. Okay, it will evade the host immune system. There is intracellular localization. It will enter into the cells, that is intracellular localization, and the cell membrane is composition is adjusted to mimic the host cell membrane. So these things it shows. It will evade the host immune system. It will carry out the intracellular localization, means it will enter into the host cells, and it will adjust its cell membrane so that this cell membrane will mimic the membrane of the host cell. Okay, that is the strategy of this particular bacteria to live inside the host cell. So these are some species of Mycobacteria, that is not Mycobacteria, Mycoplasma. Mycoplasma amphiforme, Mycoplasma baccale, Mycoplasma fuchsium, Mycoplasma fermentans, Mycoplasma genitalium, Mycoplasma hominis, then M. incognitus, Lipophyllum, Orale, penetrans, Pyrum, Pneumoniae, Primatum, Salivarium, Spermatophyllum. So several species are there. And Mycoplasma genitalium, it is a sexually transmitted mycoplasma. Okay, it is small and pathogenic bacteria, and it lives on the skin cells of urinary and genital tract in humans. Okay, where are the host cells of this particular bacteria present? On the skin cells of the urinary and genital tracts in humans. Okay, and here there is resistance. This bacteria shows resistance to multiple antibiotics, including azithromycin. It is showing resistance. And also the bacteria was first isolated from urinogenital tract of humans in 1981. And it was identified as a new species of Mycoplasma in 1983. And it caused negative health effects in men as well as humans. Okay, Mycoplasma genitalium. It also increases the risk factor for HIV spread. That is another important thing. And the occurrences, we see high occurrences in homosexual men and those previously treated with azithromycin antibiotics. And also it causes urethritis. This Mycoplasma genitalium that causes urethritis both in men and women, and also cause cervicitis and pelvic inflammation in women. Okay, so two species are explained here, that is Mycoplasma pneumonia, what are the infection it is causing, as well as Mycoplasma genitalium. Two examples are elaborated here. So with this I am closing. Thank you. The multiplication or the reproduction of this Mycoplasma I will post you in the Moodle.